What's up, world? My name is DeStorm Power, and I am going to draw my life.
Long before the Xbox 360 and PlayStation, a little before the Nintendo and Sega Genesis came...
Me. Now, I was born in a small town called Arlington, Virginia, and I honestly believe my parents must have been backpacking or something, had me, then went back to Baltimore, D.C., because I don't have any recollection of Virginia. Now, I have 7 siblings, 3 older brothers, and 4 younger sisters. Now, I still don't understand how somebody can have so many damn kids, but this little Brady bunch comes in handy. I'll tell you about that later. Now, my father worked for the Sun. That's the main newspaper company in Baltimore City, and I ain't find this out until he gave me and my brothers our first job as paper boys. Not the type of paper boy that rides around on the cool little bike and throws the papers at your front door in the morning. Nope, the type of paper boy that you lock in the garage and make him work 13 hours a day for $7 a week with your punk ass. In retrospect, I guess if I had a bunch of minions, I would have put them to work too. So as the paper route slowed down and the bills got heavier, so did my father's hands. I said, if you touch my mama one more time, I'm gonna whip your punk ass. He took me up on that offer. I was dangling upside down getting my ass whooped. So my mama said, before these boys grow up and kill this man, I'm getting out of here. Now, I'm not sure how you leave in the middle of the night with 8 kids on your hip, but I'm guessing she looked towards the North Star. And my mama must have been Harriet Tubman? Now, since my mama was the only one old enough to work, we moved into this ghetto-ass 1-bedroom in the projects, where our favorite pastime was killing the rats with the 2x4s. I remember one day we asked for a pet. My mama said, you better go collect ants. See, the projects don't come with luxuries like pets and televisions and radios and hot water, but since I had so many brothers and sisters, we were able to entertain each other. See, I told you these little fuckers would come in handy. There were no video games, so my mother told us every day, go outside and play, where we learned street football, kickball, and freeze tag. And all the ghetto kids, they wasn't too fond of the newcomers, so we started to get into fights every day. Welcome to the motherfucking hood. Now, because of all the years of slaving for my father, me and my brothers was a lot stronger than the other malnourished ghetto-ass kids. It was a lot of violence in the hood. People was getting shot, robbed. One day I seen a 7-year-old girl get shot in the head at the bodega. Shit was crazy. To keep us out of trouble, my mama put us in any free extracurricular program she could find outside the hood. I started to go to Baltimore School of the Arts and hone my art skills. I was drawing murals on church walls. Baltimore got so violent, my mama wanted me to have some strong, positive black male role models around me. So we in the Nation of Islam repping Farrakhan to the fullest. The next few years, I'm learning martial arts from my sensei, who was a 6th-degree black belt. I started to wrestle and run track. It's funny because once I got all those skills, I wasn't even fighting that much anymore. And we would get all our clothes from the thrift shop. And this was way before Macklemore made it cool. And I used to wear these thick-ass glasses. Everybody called me Goggles or Steve Urkel. Now, my oldest brother got tired of being poor, so I heard he went away to be a street pharmacist. Whatever that is. Eviction notices piled up, so we bounced around a lot. I say I lived about 9 places in Baltimore. By my 15th birthday, I attended 5 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 2 high schools. And me and all my homies, we was borrowing cars without keys, so we couldn't return them. I started to find myself in and out of juvie till one day my mama said, I ain't picking your ass up anymore. I said, but mama, you gotta get me out. I dropped out of school in the 9th grade and found myself in trouble again. Everywhere you go, people was bumping club music. People was battle dancing against each other. The chicks was going crazy, so I started to dance. I joined a group called the Smurf Villains and became one of the best dancers in the city. Bored out of our minds, some days we would just sit on the street corner and rap about the cars that would roll down the streets. We would go to malls like Mondawmin and Reisterstown and Security Square and freestyle and sing to the girls to impress them. Downtown, we had rap battles and ciphers, and we would battle other groups from Baltimore, Jersey, New York, and Virginia. At 16, I had high hopes, and then we bombed at the Apollo, and I realized there wasn't much of an audience for battle rappers. But I figured since I could sing too, I'ma just serenade these bitches. Now, since my music career and my art career was going nowhere fast, I figured I'ma just fall back on my athletics. How the hell do you fall back on athletics? Now, I couldn't shoot a basketball for shit, and I had butterfingers on the football field, but I knew I was skilled in martial arts and track and field, so which one should I take? Well, I knew I wasn't the Bruce Leroy of the ghetto, so I chose the latter. Now, I could jump about 6'8" in the high jump at the time, which was cool, but it didn't do shit out of big meat, so the coach threw me in the long jump. I was popping damn near 25 feet already. Coach said I could get you into college. Fuck you, coach. How that's gonna help me? I ain't believing his pipe dream of sending me to college, so I was still doing my illegal things. And I got locked up one last time. Now, allegedly, my paperwork got mixed up and they put me on the wrong unit. I don't know if it was B unit, C unit, G unit. Now, whatever unit it was with some cold-blooded murderers. But I got lucky because it was this dude that was in there so long, they called him Moses. And he knew my brother. And he said, as long as I'm his chess partner, yes, chess the game, motherfucker, then he said he'll keep me from being somebody's bitch. Now, we was on maximum lockdown, so I couldn't make phone calls. I couldn't even see the daylight. And I would say, CO, correctional officer, you gotta let me out here. You got the wrong man. And of course, all the other inmates would say,
We all innocent in this bitch.
they finally found my paperwork. They realized they made a mistake, so they let me go. I finally took the coach up on that athletic scholarship deal. I said, I'm going to Morgan State University. It fell through, so I wound up going to Bowie State University. Didn't matter. I'm in college. So I started to take up many jobs so I could stay in college. From pizza delivery to a security guard to a telemarketer. Shit, I was a construction worker, stripper, and an escort. Oh, it was a scary time for me because I was a freshman, about to have a baby boy. I said, how am I take care of this child? At the time, me and my brother, we had a song called Weed, blowing up the clubs and radio. I said, Mama, I got to pursue this music. She said, I believe in you. If you could get on the radio in Baltimore, baby, you got to go to New York. I was working at Red Lobster and I knew one dude in New York, and he was an engineer at Daddy's house at Bad Boy Records. He said, come on out here, DeStorm, I got you. So I threw a going away party, kissed my mama and my girlfriend goodbye. I packed up my old ass Eclipse and drove non-stop all the way to Harlem. My first few weeks in New York was hell. I lost my job immediately at Red Lobster because my manager was on some old discrimination shit. The one dude I knew at the label, he got fired. He was on some old Jerry Maguire shit. He said, who's coming with me? And since I came in there with him, I had to leave there with him. My mama was the type of mama that would call every day to see how her baby doing. I couldn't tell her I was fired. I was the one who made it out. She said, everybody proud of you back home. Damn, the pressure. I gotta figure things out. I was living in this crackhead's house on 137th in Adam Clayton Powell. I was paying her $400 a month to live in one of her bedrooms. I couldn't even pay that. So her pimp came over one day and he tossed me on the street. I remember like it was yesterday. I had one check left. I brought 2 outfits, a cheap amp and a keyboard. I brought some tints for my car that I had to apply myself, and I paid my cell phone bill for 2 months. I tinted the windows of my car so nobody could see I was living in my car. The 2 outfits, well, to make it in New York, you gotta look the part. The amp and the keyboard, those was my money makers. I would go to the Barrows, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, and Manhattan and sing in the subway so I could get some gas and food to eat every day. I showered at Macy's and I would do shows and pass my demos out. One day I came home and my car was burnt up. They said it was some kids in the neighborhood or electrical fire. Now my amp and my keyboard was in there, and so was my last batch of demos and outfits, so I had no way to make money. Man, it had to be one of the coldest winters ever. And I ain't talking about the book. I found myself homeless. Shit, I remember spending my birthday at West 4th Street Station sleeping on a bench. After a few more weeks of living on the street, I was getting skinny. I said, shit, I gotta call my mother and let her know I failed. I remember walking up to that payphone. It was 2 feet of snow and my sneakers was wrapped in plastic bags. And as I went to make that telephone call and call my mother and tell her I'm coming home, this woman's card fell in the snow. I bummed enough change to make one call. I said, do I see this number in the snow as a sign, or do I call and go home? What the hell? I'm going for the number in the snow. I dialed the number and she said her boss was excited to meet me and he loved all my music. I started to get some placements and ghostwriting for artists at different labels. I was able to send a little change back home to my family, and they would take turns bringing my son out to New York on the Greyhound and Peter Pan. Bless their hearts. And so I won't ever experience this poverty again. Guess what I did? I fell back on my fitness. I studied day in and day out and learned everything I could about fitness. I said I'm gonna get every certification I could. I became a personal trainer, then eventually a master trainer in New York City. And although I had many clients and trained many athletes, some of these bastards was really forgetful. So I started uploading some of their workouts on my MySpace video page. Then I realized there's a better site for this, and it was called YouTube. I realized that not just my clients was watching these videos, but people all over the world. So I started putting catchy titles on the videos. I also found YouTube as a great place to vent. So I started doing these vlogs and telling my stories of growing up in the hood. Contrary to popular belief, I probably had the foulest mouth on the site. Everything was going smooth. The fitness was doing well. Shit, I was even banging some of my clients. Shoot, my YouTube was blowing up. My son eating, my family eating. Then I got a call from my mother and she said she had to go to the doctor. It was the winter of 2007. My mama in her mid-50s, she went to the hospital and the doctor told her she had cancer. Now, unfortunately, she had a pulmonary embolism right before, so she lost a lot of weight. I say she was about 85 pounds. 25 weeks, I would drive from New York to Howard University Hospital and join my family for moral support, and they would pump her with growth hormones, and I would do everything in my power to try to train her and get her strong enough for the chemo. Now, my mother had stomach cancer, so for 5 months, I watched her starve to death, and on May 3rd of 2008, she went back to the Lord. Now, she was my mother and my best friend, my inspiration. I talk to her every day. Now, when you lose an inspiration, you gotta find a new inspiration. Now, I didn't want to put my faith into a person anymore because when I lost my mother, I damn near killed myself. So I locked myself in my house and I just focused on my craft. Now, in my mother's deathbed, the last thing she said to me before she passed was, "You have what it takes to take care of the family. And if I can die with a smile on my face, there should be nothing you cannot achieve." And as I wept and sat in the front row of that cold church, I went up to see my mama off one more time. And I looked up at her face and I said, well, I'll be damned. She did it. She laid there in that coffin with her white garments on, with a smirk on her face. Almost to say, I did what I told you I would do. Now you hold your end of the deal. From that day forward, every excuse that I've ever had went out of the window. I said I will be great. If she could control her life with no breath, I could control mine with so many more to breathe. I read a few articles on how people were blowing up and finding success through social media and new media. For the next year, I locked myself in my apartment and I said I will do the impossible. I will learn to film, I will learn to edit, and I will be one of the #1 faces and the #1 black face in new media. I said I have to expand my audience, so I shut down my weekly show to hook up and cleaned up some of the profanity. I started to create unique songs for bigger YouTubers like iJustine and Make Me Bad so they could share it with their audience. I came up with the idea to challenge my audience and spoke to my buddy Joe Penner, the mystery guitar man. He said, DeStorm, I'm uploading on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so why don't you do Mondays and Fridays? So I created unique challenges for a year straight. I started to get tons of subscribers, which was unheard of back then for a black boy. So I started to get write-ups in CNN, Huffington Post, and in all the newspapers. I was living. I started to get little brand deals so I would fly from New York to LA and sleep on my manager's couch. She said, why don't you just move to LA? I took Sarah up on her offer. Me and my girlfriend Jessica at the time, we packed our things and we moved to LA. People started respecting my music more and I started to work with bigger brands and bigger names, bigger celebrities, bigger games. That didn't even make sense. I touched millions of eyes and millions of ears with my music and I started to win awards like the American Music Award. Made it to MTV, started throwing tours and conferences and traveling the world. Donating my time to inspire troubled youth, telling them never go my route. A pride to my family and a hero to my son. Mama, your little boy then followed that same star and rose from the ashes. Now, over 500 videos later, as I sit here and draw my life with no regrets, I smile because I know life is definitely what you make it.